Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to the third day of the training. So we have done 2 days of Excel, and personally, I'm quite happy in terms of the topics that we covered. Obviously, there is a lot of more features and functions. Plus, these topics also have a lot of depth in it. I also went through the feedback that all of you had shared. See, in terms of speed, like I said before, uh, I don't have a magic pill, right? So there is no perfect speed. It is not that my speed is the best, but I pivot and I adjust as per the requirement. Sometimes I go a little faster, even when you guys tell me, sir, don't go too fast, because I feel you can catch up, right? Maybe you can revise later, maybe you can learn from my online course. In some places, I like to spend more time on the topic because I feel that it requires more time to explain. So I assure you that I'm not going to hurry with Power BI because I saw the spreadsheet where all of you mentioned the expectations that you have from the Power BI training. So do not worry about it at all. We are going to cover from basic to advanced, right? That doesn't mean that we can spend a lot of time on Power BI in the sense that I can't cover every feature and every visualization and also do everything in Power Query and also teach you all the functions and formulas because we only have 4 days, we only have 8 hours, right? But I will be giving you a hands-on overview of everything. So you will get an idea of the scope of Power BI in terms of the basic, the intermediate, and the advanced, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you, that Power BI is going to be at a much more steady pace than Excel, in the sense that Excel, sometimes we had to speed up because there were so many things to cover, especially in the last 20 minutes of the last session. I threw many things at you, right? Lambda, formulas and functions, Power Query, JavaScript, TypeScript. Power BI, on the other hand, is much more structured and we spend a lot more time on it, right? Perfect. So in Power BI, in the folder, there is a model, but this is not what we are working on. The first file that we will work on is actually not here. So to download that file, I will have to go to Dropbox. So just a minute. The keyboard has suddenly stopped working. I'm not really sure why. Hold on. It's working now. Perfect. Okay, so let's go to Dropbox. And I would like all of you to download this file that I'm sharing with you. So in XIM, we have files and we have additional data sets. Don't download the entire folder because it's 1 GB. Currently, we are working on this one. Dataset Marketing Sales Superstore Dummy. I'm sharing the link with you as well in case you want to directly download the file. So please make sure to download this file, everyone. I'll also do the same thing. Okay, so click and download. Yeah, here we go. Anything else that you would like to share with me, you would like to ask me, discuss with me, anyone? The expectations from Power BI I've already seen. So I would say 70–80% of you have said that we want to start with basic, then go to intermediate, and then go to advanced, right? So rest assured, I'm going to cover that. Anything else that anybody would like to mention that you want me to keep in mind? All okay? All right. Now, I'm not sure why my file is not opening. Let me open it directly from the folder. So downloads and dataset marketing sales. Couldn't open in protected view. I'm not even sure what that means. Hold on. I don't think I've changed anything here. Can all of you confirm if you're able to open this file or not? The dataset marketing sales, everyone. Let me re-download it. You are able to open it, is it? Okay. Then I'm not sure what's the problem on my end, but let me re-download it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. What did I do? Did I cancel it? Oh, download. Okay, let's try once more. Oh yeah, it's opening now. Perfect. All right, now we will be spending 2 hours today and maybe sometime tomorrow as well working with this data set. So I would suggest to everyone, let's get very comfortable with it in terms of what the data is, right? The data set I'm working on is called the Global Superstore data set. It's a very popular data set. If you go to Kaggle or if you just go to Google and you type Global Superstore, you will notice that you will find lots and lots of examples available on it. Now, what makes the dataset so popular is the fact that this dataset is inbuilt in Tableau. So when you download Tableau, this is one of the inbuilt datasets. That is why almost everyone works on it when they are practicing and they're learning, working with the software for the first time. Let me walk you through the data. So what we have is 15 columns. I'll take you through it one by one. So if I look at the first column, we have the order date. That is the date on which the order was placed. Then we have the shipping date, the date on which the order was dispatched. The order date can be the same as the shipping date, but the shipping date cannot be before the order date, obviously. We have the name of the customer. We have the city, state, country, region, and market. So basically, if you look at these 5 columns, this is my geography. Market is of 5 types. Let me apply a filter and show you. So my market is Africa, Asia Pacific, Europe, Latin America, and United States, Canada. Similarly, I have 16 regions with me. Then I have 165 countries with me. And then I have state and the city with me, right? So from column D till column H, I have the geographic data. After this, I have the product details, which is my category, my segment, and my subcategory. Your segment is like a B2C, B2B. For example, here we have 3 segments. We have the consumer segment, which is direct to consumers. We have the corporate segment, which is B2B. And we have the home office, which is for small businesses. Then there are 3 categories. So we have furniture, office supplies, and technology. And within these 3 categories, there are 17 subcategories like this. So accessory, appliance, envelope, printer, phones, like this. And then at the end, we have 4 columns with numbers in it. We have the sales quantity, the discount, and the profit, right? This is what we are dealing with here. The sales is my net sales, right? Basically, my gross sales, which means that I've sold 2 units, but the combined sales for 2 units is 221. So I would like all of you to go through the data, have a look at it, see if there's anything that you are not able to understand or something that you find confusing, and then we will continue working on Power BI. Everyone, just take a minute or 2 on this. All good, everyone? So once again, we have the data for 4 years, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Then we have the shipping date, which is also for 5 years, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 2016. Customer name, geography, product details, sales quantity, discount, and profit. Now, if you think about the sort of questions you can answer with this data set, the type of analytics that you can do, we would look at total sales, total profit. We can look at the average sales. We can look at the profit margin. Then we can say, okay, which is my best country? Which is my best market? Which are the top 5 states in India? Which are the bottom states? Which is the top selling category? In the consumer segment, which products sell the most? Which is the subcategory that sells the most? We can also say how many products are selling which are over $500. I can make a trend line to say that 12, 13, 14, 15, this is the trend over time. I can find the dispatch time. So I can say that on an average in India, we take 7 days to deliver an order. So these are the type of questions you can ask, the unique number of customers, things like that. Now, the thing is that if you want to answer these questions directly on Excel, what are the options that you have? Either a pivot table or writing formulas. But that is not very simple, right? Imagine that I ask you, who are the top 5 customers in India in the consumer segment, right? Top 5 customers in India in the consumer segment. It is not that simple because I will first have to go to insert. Then I click on pivot table. Okay. Once I make my pivot table, then I'll have to put my country in the filter. I'll have to put my sales in the values. And I also want to see the customers, so customer name in the rows. Now I have to sort the data. So I'll say right click, sort largest to smallest. But I only want to see the top 5. So we will apply a filter saying that I just want to see the top values, which is the top 5 items. But this is for the entire world. I want to see for India. So I'll again have to click on this drop down and select India. Now, if you really think about it, this wasn't that difficult, right? It's pretty smart, no formulas, no manual work required. But it still requires some time. There is still a learning curve because you still have to teach freshers how to use it. Plus, there is always a possibility that somebody might take longer or somebody might make a mistake, right? I want to get the same result. Look at the names carefully. Cynthia, Vivek, Barry, Laurel, Amy, right? Just remember that. So now I'll be working with Power BI. Let me close this file. Now, the difference between Power BI and Tableau, which one is the #1 tool in the market, job preparation, what questions are asked in interviews, I will answer all those things later. Let's not discuss that part right now. Let's focus on the tool. Let's focus on learning it first. And then over the period of the next 4 days, I will discuss with you all these other questions that you have, right? Okay, so when I open Power BI, this is the interface that we see. Let me just give you a walkthrough. So we have let me turn on my annotation tool. Okay. Here we have the report view. This is where it's like let's say it's like a pivot table and also like PowerPoint where you can make your visuals, charts, images, icons, things like that. Then you have the data view. The data view is where you can write your own formulas similar to Excel. Then you have the modeling view. So imagine you have 3 different data sets. One data set comes from HR, one comes from the branding team, one comes from your research firm. Now, how do you combine all the 3? Because it's part of one piece of analysis, right? So to model it, to combine different data sets together, we need the modeling view. Okay, now on the right side, you can see that these are my visualizations. Now, there are not so many of them. There are only about 34 of them, but I can always select more visuals and I can download more than 300 visualizations. If you look here, I can download more than 300 visualizations. Some of them are made by Microsoft, some are made by other companies, even independent developers. Most of them are free, but some of them are paid as well. But the thing is that if you want to access the more visuals, you will have to sign in. As you can see in the top right corner, I have signed in with not with my personal account, but with my organization account. So Havish, Madhupati Consulting Microsoft.com. You cannot sign in with a Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever account you have. It has to be either a student email ID or it has to be a corporate account, right? Why have they done this? Hard to say. The tool itself is free, but in case you want to sign in, right, you will need to use your student ID for this. Can you confirm if you guys already have a student ID and were you able to sign in, or have you not been able to do that? Just for my knowledge, even though for today it doesn't matter whether you have signed in or not, but I just wanted to check. So Shubhangi Ishan is a yes. Excellent. Perfect. Great. So if you guys have been able to sign in, then nothing like it. Perfect. All right. So that's the broad interface. We will discuss it in more detail. If you want to see which version of Power BI desktop you're working on, I can go to File and I can click on About at the bottom. And it clearly tells me I'm working on the July 2022 update. Power BI gets updated 11 times per year, except the holiday season. It gets updated 11 times per year. So every month, you will either have to uninstall or reinstall it, or if you have downloaded it from the store, you will get an automatic update. But do always make sure that the update has happened. Like right now, we are on July. The August update should come in another 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, Anirudh, I was not able to download the constantly showed an error message. Yeah, it would be very hard for me to tell you, unless you tell me what error was coming, maybe a screenshot. It would be very hard for me to tell you, why that error was there. So maybe just help me a little bit. And if you can just send me a screenshot of the error message, we can try to find some solution, right? Okay, so let's get started, everyone. Can you all first close the Excel file, please? Do not keep the Excel file open. As you can see, my Excel file is not open. You're not supposed to keep your background file open, or rather your Excel file open in the background if you're working on Power BI. So make sure to close the Excel file. And I will just click on this button called Excel Workbook. In the top left corner, we have Excel Workbook. Please select that. Okay, very simple. All you have to do is select that file. My file is in my downloads folder. So I select dataset marketing sales superstore and click on open. The moment you select the file, it will ask you to select the sheet that you want. Now see, right now we only have one sheet. You will notice that the load button is disabled. The reason is that you have not selected the sheet. So make sure that the sheet has been selected, that you have put a checkbox on it. The moment you put a checkbox, the load button will get activated and you have to select that. So click on the load button. It will take about 5 to 10 seconds. And once that happens, you should be able to see Once that happens, you should be able to see all the columns here on the right side. Please confirm everyone that so far everything is working for you. All good? Excellent. Okay, now let's start with the cool stuff, right? We know we can make a column chart, a pie chart, all of that. That we know we can do in Excel as well. What's the big deal about Power BI? I would like all of you to select this. It's called the Q&A, question and answer. Everyone, the one that I've highlighted here, it is called the Q&A, the question and answer. And the moment you click on that, there is a box that opens up like this. And this is very cool because this is natural language based AI. So you don't have to write any formulas or anything. I can just ask a question about my data. So we will start with a very simple one. I will say, show my sales. So show my sum of sales and sum of profit. Everybody. Can you all start with this, please? Show my sum of sales, sum of profit. You can actually just write sum sales, sum profit. It should also work. Right? Just at whatever point you're not able to do it, you get stuck, some confusion is there, stop me. Okay. Even though this part is very simple. So I'll just copy and paste. And now I'll ask another question, something a little more advanced. I will say sales by segment. How cool is that? And maybe I want to make a pie chart. So I'll say as a pie chart. So now it tells you that your consumer segment is 51%, your corporate is 30%, and your home office is 18%. And you know the best part? The two visualizations are connected, which means my total sales is 1 crore 26 lakh 42,000. But the moment I click on my consumer segment, do you see what's happening? It is becoming 65 lakh, 38 lakh, 23 lakh. How cool is that? When all of you are working, in case any mistake happens, you can just press Control Z, right? Also, don't make the visuals very small. As you can see, I've made my visual quite large, right? So it's very easy for you to see and work on it. Don't make it very small. Try to keep it the same size that I have also kept on my own page. All good? Okay, let's ask one more. So again, copy and paste. And now we want to ask that question that we wanted to get a result for. Top 5 customer by sales. Okay, now don't write India. I'll tell you why. I'll just make it a table. Okay. Now I agree that this is showing me the top 5 for the entire world, but I will just open up the filters pane here and we will select India. Right? I'm just highlighting everything so you don't have any confusion. In the filters pane, I want to put my country in the filters on this page and I'm selecting India here. Okay? Take your time, no hurry. I'm just highlighting everything so you have no confusion. Filters on this page, I've kept my country and I've selected India like this. Right? Same names, right? Cynthia, Vivek, Barry, Laurel, Amy. How cool is that? You will also notice that the other two visuals have changed because now you have applied a page level filter. So that means everything that is on this page will have that filter applied on it. So the sum of sales, sum of profit, sales by segment, top 5 customers, everything is being shown only for India. Just a moment, my system just got stuck. Great. Any questions, anyone so far? Anyone? All okay? Okay, let's ask one more. So once again, copy and paste, Control C, Control V. And now I want to make a map. So the map is going to look like this. I will say sales by state as map. Okay. I mean, pretty amazing to see that this tool is really like 5-6 years old, right? Imagine before that, most users did not have this sort of a capability. Sure, Tableau was there, but then Tableau really wasn't something all organizations used to work on because of the cost factor, learning curve, all of that. And this is a free tool, remember? So that's the best part. And of course, everything is connected. So if I click on Maharashtra, you will see how the names are changing every time. So this was my queue.
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me.
So your screen is not visible, sir. We are seeing your LinkedIn page.
Okay, my bad. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm working on multiple monitors. Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, just wait for a moment. Now tell me. What about now?
No, sir. It's still.
Still,
Hold on. Let me stop my sharing. Just a moment. And let me reshare. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with the setup. Uh, Let me stop and reshare. Yeah, I hope now there should be any problem.
yes. It's okay.
Working now? Okay, perfect. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat window. Okay. Yeah, anyway, so just catch up. We have the sum of sales, sum of profit, sales by segment as a pie. Then we have the top 5 customer by sales table, sales by status map. And then in the filters, I have a filter on country is India, like this. That's what we've done so far. Sure. For the map, really nothing else. It's just a Q&A, question and answer. I've just written sales by state as a map. That's all. Sales by state as a map. It is the same Q&A that I've used. Let me just ask one last question before we continue. So I'll make this a little wider so that all of you can see it properly. Hold on. So we'll say profit by order here by order as a line like this. Right? So everything is connected again. For every segment, you will see how the line chart is changing. Right? Can I please report how to import the pie chart and maps after importing the Excel file? My connection was unstable. Yeah, so Divyansh, all I've done is I have clicked on this button. If you can follow my arrow, my cursor, this button called Q&A. That's what you're asking, right? That after importing the Excel, correct. So I've just selected the Q&A where my cursor is there. I clicked on the Q&A and I asked these questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all. Let me just see if I can make my crosshair a little smaller, as in a little thinner. It's a little bold right now. Hold on. So, 1 second. Mouse here, some top, fancy zone. Never mind, I can't find it right now. It's okay. Cool. Shall we continue, everyone, if this is clear? Okay, so I'll make a new page and let's call this drill, DIRLL. Okay. Now, when you're doing any analysis on any tool, whether it's Excel or PowerPoint or Click or ThoughtSpot or Google, as a business user, you want to drill down, isn't it? For example, if I ask you, what is the average placement for XIMB? That is the first number. Then I will drill down and say, okay, can you tell me what is the average placement for all the specializations? So you will tell me, okay, this is so much and this is so much. Then again, I will drill down and say, okay, what is the average specialization in marketing for students with experience? So like this, I'm drilling down. That means I'm going more granular. We always say that at the top level, we have an aggregate data. And then as we go down, we are making it more granular. For example, if I say how many units of Maruti Suzuki Swift Desire blue color has been sold in Delhi in June, that is one of the most granular data points I have, right? The moment I say what is the total sales for Maruti Suzuki, that's an aggregate data. So if I say Tata Motors is doing 70,000 crores, that's an aggregate data. When I say that their commercial division is, let's say 12,000 crore, passenger division, defense, and so on. And then I say, okay, within the consumer vehicle division, within each brand, which variant, within each variant, which state, which dealer, which SKU, that becomes a granular data. That is what we refer to as a drill. Of course, we can drill up and I can drill down. So I'm going to make a column chart, very simple, my clustered column chart. And in this, I will just keep my sales and my order date. So I'm going to help you make this one, even though it's very simple. How do I explain it to you? I'll just put an arrow here. So I've selected this, everybody, this chart, and I put my order date in the x-axis and my sales in the y-axis. I hope that should be clear. Make sure you do it on a new page and keep it large. Don't make it a small chart, make it a large, big chart. I've lost my chat window. Let me try and find it. Okay, there's nothing on the chat window. Perfect. So all good, everyone. We have column chart. Order date is in the x-axis and my sales is in the y-axis. Very simple. All right. Now, let us look at these 4 arrows that we have here. Okay. So these 4 arrows that we have at the top right column. Let's see what they do. Allow me to explain it to you, and then I will give you time to practice, right? These are 4 types of drill down. The first one is called the drill up. Then you have the drill down. Then you have the next level, and finally you have the expand. Okay. So let me show you how it works. If I click on the drill down button, which is the second arrow, the down arrow, it says drill mode is on. So it's like a toggle, it's a switch. So if this is off, this is on, right? Now, if it is turned off and I click on 2015, what will happen? Nothing. When I click on 2015, I just highlight it. The others become de-highlighted and 2015 becomes highlighted. So there's really no point in clicking on it. So the moment I turn on my drill down and I activate the button, it says that I can click on a data point to drill, which means that when I click on 2015, do you see what's happening? I'm actually going one level within 2015. So now I'm saying, okay, from my year, I want to go to the quarters. Again, from my quarter, I want to go to the month. From my month, I want to go to the day. Do you see how seamless it is? Like as a business, if I say that, okay, my sales for last year have been so much, then I say, okay, last quarter, last month, all the days like that. Right. So Janvi, what I've done is I'll just create an arrow to explain how I did it. This is the chart. Order date is in the x-axis and my sales is in the y-axis. I hope that should help. So you can see the chart that I've created is this one. I've put my x-axis as order date and my y-axis as the sales value. Right? Okay, so this is the drill down, everyone. Now, how do you go back up from a granular data? How do you go back to an aggregate level? How do you go back to the year level? I can click on the drill up, so it takes me to the month level. Then I click on it one more time, it takes me to the quarter level, and then one final time, it takes me to the year level, like this. Now let me turn it off. What about the third button, which is the double arrow? That is called the next level. Now in our data, there are 4 levels. We have the year, quarter, month, and day. Now imagine that this is the level 1, which is year. What if I want to see the data at the quarter level? So when I click on this quarter level, it shows me Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. But that doesn't make sense, right? Because even when I was doing a drill down, it shows me Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. When I'm clicking on the next level, again, it's showing me Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Can somebody tell me what the difference is between clicking on 2015 and the quarters and clicking on the next level? Anyone? What do you think the difference is? Um, yeah, I mean, could you be more specific in terms of what do you think is happening? What is the difference? All right, see. 2015 is 42,99,000. Absolutely. So 2015 is 42 lakh 99,000. When I drill down, it actually shows me Q1, Q2, Q4 only for that particular year. For example, if I select 2014, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 only for that year. But when I double click, I click on the double arrow, which is next level, it shows me an aggregated data. But what's the point? Why would I want to see this? Like, what is the use case for this? Anyone? Why would I want to know? Why would I want to know the total sales of quarter 4 for the last 4 years combined? Like, what use would that be? Sure. Forecasting could be one of those things. Even the forecasting could happen on any type of data, right? It could be granular or aggregated. See, this is what we call as normalization. To compare the sales over the years for a particular quarter. Sure. For example, let's say we look at COVID, right? Now, COVID, of course, had a big impact and business went for a toss. So many industries were impacted. Now, the thing is that if I look at the last 5-year performance, if I look at that 1 year, of course, it's going to be like an anomaly because it's not going to match with my forecasts and other years. Now, what I'm doing is I'm looking at Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, not for each year. I'm saying that if I look at my lifetime sales, so from the date I started my business till today, what has been the total amount of sales in the Q4? So if I go down to my date level, what does it tell me? Look at this. It tells me that on the 26th of a month, we have had the maximum sales. I'm not saying the 26th of each month, but if I look at all the dates in a month, the 26th of a month has always been, and not always, but overall, it has been the best month for me. Can you think of an industry that would benefit from an analysis like this to know that on the 26th people have purchased more? Anyone? So 4,84,000 means that in the last 4 years, which is 48 months, the total sales for the date of 26th has been 4,84,000. So what type of industry would benefit from an analysis like this? Right. But seasonality, Preetham, is not really looked at in terms of a month, right? It's not a cyclical month. Like seasonality would be for seasons, right? Seasonality would not really be that in the first week sales are high and second week sales are low. It might be, but tell me the industry. Give me an example. What type of industry? Okay, let me give you a hint. When you go to Amazon, Amazon has a special offer on certain days of a month. You know, like exactly. So, like when you say you have an ICICI card, on the from the 1st till the 5th, or the 1st till the 8th, or the 1st till the 10th, they will typically have a discount. Big Bazaar used to do the same thing. Most retailers do the same thing. Suraj and Rohit, festival is quite different because 26th of Diwali in the month of November is and October is very different to what 26th in June and July. In this particular example, that would not be appropriate. I'm looking at a business that is not, I'm not looking at an impact of festivities. I'm looking at an impact of the date of a month. Now, if you look at a typical middle class household in the country, we are spending, let's say 20, 25, 30% of our income on groceries and necessities, right? So if you look at a Big Bazaar, or Big Bazaar is, of course, is now dying, but if you look at a More or a Reliance Retail, they are very interested to know which day of the month do people purchase the most, because that has a lot of impact on inventory management, a lot of impact on brand promotion, it has a lot of impact on other marketing initiatives that you will keep into mind, right? So e-com retail is an industry that would look at it very, very carefully. Will the telecom industry be concerned about it? Will the auto industry be concerned about it? Not really. I don't recharge my phone if I'm a prepaid customer on the basis of the date of the month, right? I recharge as and when I have a need. I might recharge 2 times in a week and I might recharge 3 times in 9 months. But e-com retail typically is what would really want to look at a data set like this. Going back, let's look at the final one, which is the expand button. Expand basically expands everything. As you can see, when I click on it, it shows me 2012, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, 2013, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, so on and so forth. If I click on it one more time, it shows me the month. And if I click on it one final time, it shows me the date. That means from the 1st of January 2012 till the 31st of December 2016, it shows us all the dates. Okay. So I would request everyone to come to this point, which I have done. First, please take a few minutes and practice all the 4. No, don't practice. Let me just complete one more thing. Then you guys practice, okay? The problem is that when I'm looking at the data at my month level, because my data is for 4 years, which is 48 months, it's a very wide chart, right? And this doesn't really look very good. Plus, as a business user, I don't want to look at my entire data. I just want to look at maybe the last 3 months, maybe the last 9 months, like that. So I'm going to click outside. Why am I clicking outside? Because I don't want to select the chart. I want to click outside, and then I will create a slicer. This one. By making a slicer and the order date, do you see what happens? You get a beautiful slicer like this, and they are automatically connected. We know that in Power BI, all the visuals are connected, which is so cool because now I can just move it. And do you see how my chart is changing as well? Can you all try this, please? So take some time, go through all the drill downs and the drill ups that you have, feel comfortable with it, make the slicer and see how the two interact with each other. Okay. Have a look at it. Just give me 30 seconds. I'll just go and get my phone. I've put it on charge. Any questions? Anyone? So formatting and all I'll cover later in terms of colors, border, shadow, labels, all of that. We'll do that part. That's not the difficult part. But first, I want you to feel comfortable with what we can do on Power BI. All good? Okay. Let me make one more chart. Now, what happens in Power BI is that you already have a chart selected, like I have the column chart selected. And if I click on a pie chart, right, watch carefully. If I have a column chart selected and I click on the pie chart, what will happen is it will convert into a pie chart. it will not create a new chart. It will convert the existing one. So let me undo this, Control Z. Whenever you are creating something new, always make sure to click outside in a blank area and then select the new chart. So I'm going to make a pie chart. Let me keep it here. And in the pie chart, I will keep my segment and my sales. I want to show you something very interesting. Right now, when I look at Q4, this is 5,03,000, correct? When I click on consumer, look what happens. It tells me that my total sales in Q4 December is 5,03,000, out of which the highlighted area, which means the consumer segment is 273. If I click on corporate, it is 140. And if I click on home office, it is 88,000. How cool is that? Because this gives you two numbers, right? It tells you the total sales in that month. And it also tells you the sales for the highlighted area, which in this case is the segment that you select. This is called highlighting. Right? Please try this, everyone. Any questions, anyone? Right. So quick recap. We made a column chart. Let me turn on my tool. I made a column chart in which we kept our order date in the x-axis, our sales in the y-axis. Then we made a slicer, which is here, and we kept our order date in the field. Obviously, they are connected automatically. Finally, we made a pie chart with our sales in the values and our segment in the legend. When I click on any one segment, you notice that I'm able to highlight my column. So it tells me the total sales as well as the highlighted area. All okay? Perfect. Let's continue in that case. Also, please save your work. We haven't saved it so far. So Power BI files are only saved in one format called PBIX, which is a Power BI file. And obviously only Power BI can open it. So I'll just save it on my desktop. And in XIMB, in Power BI, I'm going to call this 29th, okay? July. Okay, let's create one more chart. But this time what we would like to do is to create a scatter chart, something a little different, not your standard column pie chart. This is the scatter chart. Please select it, everybody. The scatter chart. All right, now in the scatter chart, we can keep two variables. So I can keep, let's say, the sales and the profit, or the quantity and the profit, like that. So I'm just doing it for you. It's not difficult. So just follow with me. Market is in values. Sales is in my x-axis and profit is in my y-axis, like this. Okay. And in the play axis, just keep your gear like this. Take your time, no hurry. I hope all of you are able to see the highlighted field, market, sales, profit, and then the year. And I've selected this chart, which is my scatter chart. All right, let's see what happens now. You can see that the profit is on the y-axis, the sales is on the x-axis, very simple. And each one of these are the markets. So Africa, LATAM, USCA, so on and so forth. This is so cool because now, oh, by the way, formatting I'll cover in another 2 minutes, but let me show you what the play button does. If I click on the play button, do you see this? You actually see the change over time. How awesome is that? Also, you can select any one year manually like this. And the third thing you can do is, if you click on any one market, for example, if I click on Asia Pacific, APAC, I've highlighted it. Now, when I click on the play button, look what will happen. It will actually tell me how it is changing over time. Do you see this? Isn't this such a beautiful way of presenting your data? You can also do it for all of them. So if I just press shift and select all of them, actually, I'm not sure if I can do that, but let me just select manually like this. Look at this. Do you see how they're changing over time? Beautiful, right? Please try this, everyone. Make sure it's working for you. Once you have done this part and you're clear, then I'll tell you how to apply some formatting on top of this. I mean, you can create a scatter chart even in Excel for that matter. But these effects and all are very difficult to do. And even if you can do it, it's just too much effort. It won't look so beautiful. So, Power BI is such a nice, easy tool for all of you to work with. I'll just wait for 1 minute in case anybody has any questions. Then we will go to formatting. Once you're clear with this part, right? And please do let me know, everyone, if the pace is. I don't think the pace is fast, but still, if you have any feedback on the pace or anything else, do let me know, right? And I'll keep it in mind. All good? Okay, excellent. Now let's come to formatting. Now, so far, we have only made the visual and we put different fields in it, x-axis, y-axis, drill down, all of that. We haven't changed anything in terms of the effects and the colors and all, right? Where are these options available? It is there in this button called format. If all of you can see, this is add data, this is format. In this, you will have hundreds of options available and they are different for every visual. For example, if I show you in the column chart, you will notice that options are very different. I have grid line, column, data label, plot area. Here, if you notice, it's very different. I have category level marker, right? Zoom slider. So quite different, right? What all do we want to change? So I want to enable my zoom slider, first thing, like this. First. Second, I will go to markers and I want to increase the size of these bubbles. They're very small right now. So I'll just increase the size a little bit. So I'm going to make it let's say about 25, right? Like this. If you want to change the color, you can do that. You can also select color by category so that you get 5 different colors for 5 markets, right? You can also set the category labels so that it tells you what market it is, which I think is a good idea. Right? Then in the style, you can have a border only. You can change the shape. Like I said, you have to really spend a lot of time exploring the options because there are so many options in it. And every visual has different options. Every month, they introduce new formatting features, which is great. There's also a lot to learn. And there really isn't much for me to teach you because it's all hard work. You have to put in hours behind it and you have to do it. In general, the second one, the first is visual, the second is general. I can also go to FX and I can add a border and a shadow. I hope you see how nice this looks now. You get this black border and you also get this shadow effect, right? Otherwise, the visual looks like this. It's very boring. With a border and shadow, it looks pretty cool. And of course, there are lots of other options. So if you notice in the shadow, there are so many options. You can change the color, you can choose the inside, outside, the position, right? All of that. You can't really learn these things from a course or from a book because there's so much. You really have to practice on your own and be curious, try changing different things and see what the final result is, right? Yeah, so just take a few minutes on this, everyone, and tell me if you have any question. Don't worry if anything goes wrong. It's okay, right? Nothing will go wrong, which is irreversible, but just feel comfortable with it and have a look at all the options. I'm also making it rounded. So you get this nice rounded effect like this. And like I said, look how beautiful this is. You can also use the zoom slider to zoom in, right? Like this, if you want to. It's just a stunning visualization. Any questions, anyone? Okay, let's take a small break. As I'm older to you, it's my responsibility to make sure that you take care of your health as well. It's not a good thing to keep on sitting for such a long time. So let's take a small break. You can all have a breather. we are at a good pace, right? So we have gone from zero to a good speed, right? Where we started from nothing. Now you guys have understood Power BI. You've done Q&A, imported the data, Q&A, drill down, connecting two charts, slicer, and you've also done the scatter chart. So let's take a small break, not a long one. It will just give us an opportunity to move our arms and legs and we join, right? So not a long break. It's 12:37. Let's just take a sharp 8-minute break and let us resume at 45. Okay. Please come back on time. I will be back on time. But let's just take a short break, everyone. Right. I'll also be away from my system. So if you have any questions, just put it on the chat window and I will come back and answer. All right, welcome back everyone. So quick recap, we have loaded the data set. We have worked on question and answer, on column chart, on a pie chart. We have seen the highlight. We have seen the different types of drill. We have also seen the slicer for the date and the scatter chart. In the scatter chart, we also did some formatting options. Formatting, remember, is different for different visualization and it's very in-depth. So you have to spend a lot of time and effort going through every single thing and try and see what are the features that you have. Just give me 10 seconds. I'll just close the door and come. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. And let us look at something different now. Okay. So I have covered this. Let us now look at how we can work with a tooltip. One of the most amazing and one of the most obvious features that you will use in Power BI is the ability of creating a tooltip. Let me give you an example. So if I search online and I show you Power BI tooltip, see, this is what I want to create. Do you see this? We have created a chart, but inside the chart, when I click on any one of these bubbles, it opens up another chart for me, right? Look at some other examples like this, like this. Now, the advantage is that A, it looks very cool, and B, it allows you to present a lot of data because otherwise the current tooltip I have, see, this is also a tooltip. This black box, it's very boring, right? It only has the order date month and the sales value. Now, if you say that, sir, can we add something to it? That means you don't want to see only the sales, you want to see the sales, you want to see the profit, you want to see the quantity, you want to see the number of transactions, and you want to see the total number of unique customers. I can do that. How? Please watch. There is an option here called tooltips. Now, obviously, right now it is blank because we are only looking at two things, the order date month and the sales value. But the moment I drag something into the tooltip, if I put my profit, look what happens. The chart is not changing, but when I take my mouse, do you see this? It shows the sales and the profit. Let me do it one more time. I'll put my sales once again, but this time I'll change it to the average. So I click on the drop down and I make it average. It makes it total sales is 5,03,000. The average of each transaction is $233. The total profit is 46,000. Same thing I can do with the profit. Let me put my profit and make it the average. Once again, I'll put my customer name 2 times. Okay. Once and twice. The first time I'll make it the count, and the second time I'll make it the distinct count. So let me explain what that even means. Look at this. Now it tells me that for this particular month, which is December, my total sales is 5,03,000. My average sales per transaction is 233. Profit is 46,900. Average profit per transaction is $21. How many total transactions have happened? 2,153. And what is the number of unique customers we have? 589. Now, if you want to change this label, we can do that as well. If you notice, I can just come here, I can rename it, and I can call it the transactions, and here I can call it the unique customers, right? Like this. Please try this out, everyone. right? Take your time, no hurry. This is one way of modifying the tooltip to make the tooltip show you additional values, right? But obviously, I will show you how to make it even better by creating a new visual altogether. But this is also very handy. Something you actually you can do this in Excel as well, but it's very, very complex to do this on Excel. Any questions, anyone? There is no limit on the number of fields you put in the tooltip. You can choose the order as well, but then it's still numbers, right? Like you can't really make a chart or anything, right? It's just numbers, which is great, beautiful feature, but we want to go one beyond this, right? Okay, so I would like all of you to do this with me. Please make a new page and just call it whatever you want to call it. I'm just calling it my mini, as in my mini chart. Everyone, please make a new page and call it mini. Okay, so we made a mini page. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to this format button. Now I have already shown you we have formatting, but we did that formatting on a chart. Like here, I had a scatter chart and we did the formatting on the chart, on the visualization. Now what I want to do is I want to do the formatting on the page itself. Right now my page is blank. We don't have anything on it. So I will go to format and the options are very limited. I have the page information, canvas setting, canvas background wallpaper, very few options. So we want to go to page information and we want to enable it as a tooltip. Now, what does it mean? You see what happens? The size becomes smaller automatically. This means that the mini page is not going to act like a regular page. I'm not going to show this page to the user directly. I want to show this page to the user as a tooltip. That means like this. Now, you might ask, but so why is the size this? Let's see, the default size, if I go to canvas setting, you notice that the default size of a page is in pixels. It is 1280 by 720, 16 by 9. When you make it into a tooltip, it makes it 240 by 320. But don't worry, it is not forcing you to use this size 240 by 320. I can just go to the canvas setting and I can put a custom size. Right? So I don't want to keep 240, 320. I want to keep something different. Let's keep it as, let's say, a height of 500. Okay, maybe 300, right? And a width of 500, right? Like this. Please do this, everyone. First, you want to enable the tooltip, and then you want to go to canvas settings and make it 300 by 500 in the format. Again, take your time, no hurry, but please do this. All good? Okay. Now, first we want to connect it to the drill column chart we have created. First, we want to make sure that we are able to connect the two. Once we are confident that the connectivity is there, then I can create something of this, right? So first, let me go to the drill and we will connect it. Now, don't think that there is no tooltip on it. You know, a lot of people say, okay, this means I'll be connecting to a tooltip. This black box that you see is also a tooltip. It's just that we don't want this default automatic tooltip. We want to create our own tooltip, which is that other mini page. So I will go to format. It's very simple. You go to format, go to general, and you see there's a tooltip option here. But why is it already on? Because if you turn it off, what will happen is that when you take your mouse, do you see nothing is happening? The black box is not there. This is very important to know because many times we create a chart which is self-explanatory. For example, the pie chart. This black box is actually irritating because I can see the number here also. I can see the name of the segment here also. So what is the reason of having this black box? It's very obtrusive, right? So basically, whenever you don't want it, you can just hide the tooltip. That is the reason we can hide it. But anyway, for the column chart, I don't want to hide it, but I want to not show the auto tooltip. I want to show the mini tooltip like this, right? And let's see what happens. Now you notice it shows me that other page like this. So make sure everybody's able to do this. Then I'll, create something on that other page. Everyone, any questions? Now comes the fun part. This was a slightly boring part to set everything up. Yeah, so Himanshu, yeah, you'll have to be more specific. Where did you get dropped off? Because then I'll help you. Did you make the mini chart page? This one? Okay. So after you made the mini chart page, I hope you have enabled it. You have allowed it as a tooltip, right? Also, I don't know why you guys don't, why do you use the chat window? Is it not easier to just chat with me? As in unmute yourself and talk. It's just so much faster and easier, right? The chat is needlessly complicated. You have to type, then I have to read, then I have to reply, right? It's so much easier if you just unmute yourself. Anyway, so I have enabled it as a tooltip. I have also gone to canvas setting. I've changed the size to 300 by 500, right? Okay. Once I've done that, then I go back here. I select my column chart. I go to general. I've selected tooltip and I've connected it to the mini page, right? Like this. If at all anybody has a problem, I have enabled the screen sharing. I'm stopping my share. Please share your screen with me at whatever point you're stuck and I'll help you. Anyone at any point, if you're stuck, please share your screen. Okay, so Harshvardhan, let's see. Right. No, not this one. On the mini chart page. On the mini chart page, you have to enable as a tooltip. That's done. Perfect. Now go to the drill page. Click on the column chart first. Click on the column chart. Anywhere. Yeah. Now go to general. Correct. Now go to tooltips. Right. And in the page menu, yeah, it's working. Now take your mouse over any one of the columns on the column chart. On the column chart. Right. All right. So I'm going to reshare my screen. Excellent. Now, first we want to change the background color of the page before we add any visualization on it. Let's also do some formatting. So I'll change the background color. Very simple. I can go to format. I can go to canvas background and just put any color of your choice. I'm just choosing one at random, like this. Okay. Any color you want. And I want to put a visualization on it. It again could be any visual that you want. So right now I'm looking at my column chart like this, but I want to keep something else on it. So maybe I will keep a card, which is this one, the one that says 1, 2, 3 on it, everyone, which is just a number. It's like a key performance indicator. It is just one single number. And the multi-row card is multiple numbers. So I'm going to select the multi-row card. And in this, I will keep my sales and profit. Okay. Let me just reduce the width so it all comes in one column. And then I'll also keep my quantity, right? Like this. I think this looks great. Let's add one more visual. So again, copy and paste. And in the second visual, I want to show something else. So maybe I'll show a bar chart. And in the bar chart, I'll keep, let's say, my market. No, let's not select the market. Let's select the, what do we have here? We have the segment, right? So let's select the category and the sales value like this, right? Also make sure you're showing the data label. So I'll go to format and I will enable the data label. So you can see the numbers like this, right? I think this looks great, everyone. Now see how beautiful this is. I can just go back and I can just take my mouse. Do you see this? Sales, profit, quantity, and the sales by category. You see it's dynamic. It's changing every time. How cool is that? Please try this, everybody. Okay, take your time, no hurry. Any questions, anyone?
Hello.
Yes.
Did we use three different cards or one single card for sales, profit, and quantity?
Sure. So I have used the multi-row card, which is this one, because this can accept three, like as in multiple numbers. If you use the single card, it will only accept a single number. So in my case, I've used a multi-row card where I kept the sales, profit, quantity one below the other. Right. Any other question, anyone? Okay, so quick recap. You do have the option for the tooltips here, as you can see. How do you do that? So I go to, let me just re-enable the old one, which is my auto. So I can keep multiple values in the tooltip, one below the other. Like in this case, we have the sales, sales, profit, average profit, transaction, and unique customers. But if I connect it to the mini page, then I get a different tooltip. On the mini page, we went to format. In the page information, we enabled the tooltip like this. And then in the canvas settings, we also change the size. It could be any size that you want, but usually you don't keep it very large, obviously. You keep it a little small like this, right? I'll just give you an example of a tooltip that I've created. Hold on. Something more sophisticated than this, right? So look at this one. This is also a Power BI dashboard. Okay, do you see this? This is a tooltip as well. It's beautiful, right? It just looks, look at the colors, the formatting. And this is not just one visual, right? There are a lot of things happening. There are 4 numbers, there is an arrow, there are different shapes, there's a line, there's some text, right? Like this. This is one example of a tooltip. And if I show you something else, I'm not sure if there's a tooltip here, but I'll show you a use of the scatter chart. So check this out. Yeah, check this out. This is an actual client project. Of course, I've changed the numbers and all, but this is a COA, which is cost of acquisition, right? Which essentially tells me how much money are we spending to acquire a customer, right? This is an Ayurveda company. So they have clinics and they are selling tangible products in stores. So they are advertising on different channels on digital and television, different medium. And they want to understand what is their cost of acquisition. For example, if I look at News 24, they are spending 1,519 rupees to acquire one customer, which basically means that, let's say they're spending 5 lakhs on this particular channel in a month, and they end up getting 30 customers. So they are spending 1,519 per customer, something like that, right? Again, look at how I can see the change over time. Do you see how for every week, my COA is changing and my conversion percentage is changing? For example, my highest conversion is coming with affiliates, right? But my cost of acquisition is also high. Which is the best one? Look at this, News 18 Lokmat. Okay, maybe a zero is not making sense, but if you look at Care World, my cost of acquisition is quite low, 1,221, and my conversion is very high. That means for every 100 people who watch the ad and who call me at my clinic, they end up becoming customers. That is my conversion percentage. So if I click on it, do you see how it is changing over time? So for every week 1, it was quite low. Then week 2, the conversion went up, the COA went down, which is very good, right? Because that's what I want, right? I want my conversion percentage to be higher and my cost of acquisition to be lower. And in week 3, it improved significantly. So that means that from week 2 to week 3, my COA was more or less the same. You see this? 1,269, 1,221. But my conversion percentage went up significantly from 26 to 36%. This, everybody, is what we refer to as storytelling. So when we talk about storytelling, we're not talking about making a PowerPoint with colors and shapes and animations. That's one part of it. But data analytics is this. When we say Power BI, which is business intelligence, this is the intelligence. It is not about saying, okay, I have made a chart and this is a beautiful chart. No. What is the insight? What is the inference? What is the actionable? When you show it to a client, how can you highlight to them, see, this is an interesting pattern. For example, do you see this? Everybody, Q1. Okay, let me just do it like this. If you look at this pattern, right, look what is happening. December, January, February. So February was my worst month. correct? It's right in front of you. But what about the previous year? Again, you notice February was the worst month. So there's a pattern I can identify, right? And that pattern is what you want to highlight as a part of your insight, right? For example, one insight would be that October, November. So from October to November, there is quite a significant jump of about 18%. But then in December, there was a small fall. What about the previous year? October, November, December. Do you see the difference, everyone? In the previous year of business, I grew from October to November to December. It scaled up. In the current year, while my business overall is bigger, while in the current year, my business overall is bigger. That means October, November, December are all bigger than the previous year best month. The best month of December is lesser than the October of this year, but the pattern is quite different. October was X, November was higher, but December was a little lower than that. This is what you guys have to do. It is not about making a report. Let's be honest. Power BI is such a silly, simple tool. Somebody in school can learn it in 2 hours and make it. We all know that, right? Making the chart is not the real test. Of course, you have to learn that as well. But the point is that what is beyond that? As an MBA, the expectation from you is not just to say, I have made a chart and see my chart is beautiful and it is linked to other charts. It is about coming up with insights. And whenever people say, okay, insights is something complicated, it's not complicated. Look at how I'm explaining it to you guys right now. This is exactly what I would expect. For example, if you look at the unique customers, okay, which I don't have here, one moment. If I look at my unique customers, in December, we have 589 unique customers. In the previous year, in the month of December, we had 508, which is a good sign, which tells me that the number of unique customers have actually increased over time. But if I compare it with November, let's look at the pattern. November, I had how many? I had 592 and I had 589, which is okay. That means my customers are stable. Everybody, let me say that one more time. My customers are stable. That means there hasn't been a customer churn. It is not that I've lost customers, but there is a fall in sales. What does that mean? That on an average, customers are buying less from me. Look at this. The average was 258. The average dropped to 233, which is not good. It's not a good sign. In October, the average was 260, which was the best one. From 260 average, it went to 258, which is almost stable. But then there was a sharp drop. It dropped to 233, right? So if I compare October with December, this is how you would express the data. You would say that in October, we had 507 customers, average was 260. While in December, my sales have shot up, my customers have also increased, my average sales have dropped. As a business, I'm not really concerned about customers, right? I'm concerned about my top line and my bottom line. So it is not a good sign that I'm selling less on average to a customer. While I'm acquiring more customers, which is a good positive, my average is also lesser from customers. Yeah, so I'll stop talking now. If you have any questions, ask me, but I hope all of you are able to see what my job as a data analyst is. When clients hire me, they're not hiring me to do this, right? They're hiring me partly to do this, but their team can also do this. They're hiring me also to come up with insights, consult them on what is doing well, what is not doing well, what is the reason behind it, all using data. I'm not a management consultant, I'm a data analytics consultant. A management consultant will work on PowerPoints and Excels. I'm working here where my work is to automate, come up with actionable insights for the business using data. Everything I do is data oriented. I'm not helping businesses create strategy. I'm helping businesses look at their own data and identify patterns in it, right? Perfect. Anything you would like to ask or discuss on that note, if anyone? Take a minute, think about what I said, and I hope it made sense to all of you. Any questions, anyone? All okay? All right. Let's also do an introduction of what is Power Query and what is DAX. Okay. So if I explain the components in Power BI, everyone, there are three things we can do. Number one, we can do ETL, which is extract, transform, and load. We can extract, transform, and load the data, which is the first part of a data process, which means that you have many different data sets. Something is on the server, something is on an Excel file, something is on a CSV. Finance has some files, marketing has some file, your consulting firm has some files, correct? Obviously, you have to combine the data, right? You have to clean the data. You have to make changes to the data. That part is data prep, data wrangling, data cleaning. There are many ways we associate with it. The basic idea is we are doing data prep, which is data preparation. Data preparation is not about doing insights and complex calculation. It's just about preparing the data for consumption. So it says connect, extract, transform, and load the data. I'm sure all of you have heard of the term called ETL, which is extract, transform, and load, right? And the idea of extract, transform, and load is that first you extract the data. So from your SAP or from your Salesforce, you extract the data, you transform it. That means you make changes to it and load it. You load it into a tool like Google, Azure, Tableau, Power BI, whatever it is, right? That's the first part. The second part is the visualizations, which is what we are doing right now. And the third part is calculations. See, everything you need is not readily available to you. To give you an example, if I ask you that you have the order date, correct? You also have the shipping date. Can you tell me what is the dispatch time? On an average, how long does it take for us as a company to dispatch an order? Where is that answer? We know that we have the order date and the dispatch date, so we can subtract it to get 571 and we can find the average. But where do you do it? Now, this is a part of data preparation. Now you can say, but sir, why was this data not given to us before? Like, but that doesn't make sense, right? Because the data that is being given to you from the system is not going to have calculations in it. It is just the raw data. You have to do the calculation, which is called a computed column. Similarly, if I ask you that you have the profit and you also have the sales, can you tell me the profit margin? That is again your requirement. We have to calculate it as a formula because you can't have the profit margin directly calculated in the raw data. SAP is not going to tell you the profit margin. You will calculate it at the analytics level, right? So we will do these two examples before we wrap up for today, because I just want you to look at what is Power Query and what is DAX, okay? Please do it with me, everyone. Can you click on transform data? Everybody, please click on transform data, the one I've highlighted here. Okay. Once you select transform data, there is a new window that will open up. We will look at this window in more detail tomorrow. We will do a lot of examples on this, but what you should know is that this is called the Power Query Editor. I'm just highlighting it at the top. It's called the Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor, if anybody asks you what is Power Query Editor, you will say that it's a part of Power BI, which is for ETL, extracting, transforming, and loading the data. So if you notice, I have my order date and ship date, but you want to find the difference, right? What is the dispatch time for the first transaction? So 13th November, 11th November, we know we have dispatched in 2 days, correct? But where is that calculation? How do you write that calculation? So please select add column. It's very simple. Just select add column and select custom column. Right? It will just take 1 minute. Go to add column and select custom column. Very simple, just like Excel. This box will open up and now you will say that my dispatch time, everyone, is equal to what? I will double click on my ship date and I will say minus my order date. Take your time, no hurry, but do this properly. Let me highlight it for you as well. I've selected add column, then I've selected custom column, and this is the formula of your right. All good, very simple. I will click on OK. See the result? It creates a new column at the very end, and it is called as dispatch time. Now, right now, the format is not correct. So just click on this icon and change it to a whole number. That's it, as simple as that. See, you could have done this in Excel as well. And a lot of people ask me, Avish, why don't we just do it on Excel? But that's the point, right? Your Excel is your raw data. You're not supposed to use Excel for your calculations. When you're working on Power BI, Excel is just a data set. Let me say that one more time. Excel is what? Is it a software or is it a data set? It is both. When we say there is a type of file called CSV, CSV or a text file is not a software, right? It's just a data type. Excel for me right now is a data type. It's an extension. It's just a file I have on my computer. It is not the application called Microsoft Excel. So I'm not using Excel to do these calculations. I can, but that doesn't make sense because half my calculation will be on Excel, half of it will be on Power BI. It is much better to do this calculation directly on Power BI, like I've done using Power Query. So once we have done this, dispatch time, I can just go to close and apply in home, close and apply. So this column will get added to my data set. And now you notice I will get a new column here called, do you see this? Dispatch time. How cool is that? And I can just put this in the tooltips, everybody, in the tooltips like we did before. And this is very cool. By the way, we want to look at the average dispatch, right? Not the total dispatch. So it tells me that in November, my average dispatch time was 3.98 days. In December, it was 3.98, 3.94. There's a very small difference, but I hope you can see it has a big impact. No, even a small difference in dispatch has a huge impact in terms of your, your transport cost, logistics, things like that, right? Like this. Do you see how it is changing? 3.75, right? In the month of March, it is 3.75. And if I look at the March of previous year, it was 3.83, right? So obviously for certain businesses, dispatch would be dependent on the seasonality. Typically when your orders are smaller, sales are lesser, dispatch is faster, right? So when sales are lesser, ideally, I would expect that it is faster, but not always. If you notice, in February, my average dispatch time is actually very high. It is 4.03. Now, one reason could be that, anyway, I'll not get into the reasons here because we don't have context of the data. But this is the type of analysis that all of you will have to do. Any questions on this so far? Is there something on the chat window? Hold on. You're not getting the average option. Anupam, once you have the dispatch time here, I have put it in the tooltips. I just click on the drop down and I select the average. If you cannot see this, that means the data type is not correct. So please go back to transform data, right? And make sure that the dispatch time you have converted into a, like I have done. 1 second. hold on, it's not opening properly. Let me reopen it. Make sure that your dispatch time is a number like I've done here. It should not look like this ABC1 to 3 because ABC1 to 3 is like a text value. So you can't find the average of a text. You can only find the count, right? So make sure that you click here and change it to a whole number. Once you do that and you go back, now it should work. Right? Everybody? Right? I'm not getting into DAX today because DAX will take more time. I don't want to do it in a hurry, but this is good. At least now you have an idea of what Power Query is, what the interface looks like, why do we need Power Query, and how do you write a formula in Power Query. Tomorrow we'll do it in much more detail, right? Okay, so quick recap, everyone. We worked on Power BI. It's a free tool. To sign in, you need an institute or a corporate account. I connected to my Excel file by selecting Excel workbook. There is no limit on the size of the data. You can even handle 200 crore, 2 billion records in Power BI. This is an AI feature called Q&A. So I'm asking questions like sum of profit, sum of sales, sales by status map. We also went to filters and we applied a filter on India since we wanted to see the data only for India. Everything you see here is connected, right? As you can see, everything is connected to each other. Then in the drill down, I showed you there are 4 types of drill. We have drill up, drill down, next level, and expand, right? All of them are important in their own way. Then we created a slicer, which is connected to my other charts. We created a pie chart. And because the 2 charts are connected, when I click on the pie chart, this gets highlighted. The other way also. If I click here, you see how my pie chart is getting selected. This is my tooltip, but in the tooltip, we have kept multiple values, which you can see here. Okay. So there are multiple values in the tooltip. So I have average sales, average profit, transaction, unique customer, and average dispatch time. We also went and created a new tooltip of our choice. So in general, I can also select my mini page, which is a custom tooltip. I can actually show a visual or a set of visuals as a tooltip. Obviously, you can't show both things at the same time. Then we made a scatter chart, very simple. Profit is y-axis, sales is x-axis, market is the 5 dots, and we have the year in the play axis like this. Okay. Yeah, that's what we have done. And I also showed you transform data, which we just did one thing, which is to calculate the average, the dispatch time, and then we found the average. Right? Any questions so far? Any questions? Anyone?
Hello?
Yes, please. Tell me.
Is there a way we can stop there is a table and a pie to interacting with each other? We can stop it.
Yeah, we can stop it. So, for example, if I do not want my pie chart to change the column chart, see right now it is changing the column chart, correct? So I can just select my pie chart. I go to format. It's very simple. And I have something called edit interactions. That is what we want, right? We want to edit the way the 2 charts interact with each other. So when I click on edit, you see there are these 3 small icons that come. So if I change it to none, what will happen is now when I click on my pie chart, the column will not change, but the other way it will work. If I click on my column chart, it will change the pie chart. If you want this also not to work, you can make it none here also. Now they will not interact with each other. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
format, and edit attach. It's very simple. By default, everything is connected, but then as you notice, it's not very difficult to handle that. Cool. Any other question, anyone? Good. I think we made a good start today. Tomorrow, we are going to make a few more visuals. And once we have done that, I will also start doing an advanced example on Power Query. So we will be working not just with one file, we'll be working with a bunch of different files, which is a real world scenario. And I'll be telling you how we can model it, how we can combine all the files together, create a unified model. And then, of course, we will do some calculations and visualizations on it, right? So tomorrow we will work on multiple files. We will work on Power Query. We will also start with DAX, right? Same thing will continue the day after as well, right? So you guys can do your internal communication. I don't think there's much for you to tell me today because it was new for everyone. But still, if there's something specific that is on your mind, do share it, with the team, and they will come back to me. Right? This file also I'm going to put on Teachable. So on the day 3 lecture, you will find this file attached on it, like I do every day. So in case you want to download it and you want to work on it, you can do that. Right? Perfect. Great. I think that's all from my side. So cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time, right? I'm just checking. It's my calendar. Today's, as in 29th will be 10:30, right?
Yes, sir. 29th is 10:30.
So we have 10:30 now for the next 5 days, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Excellent. Great. My family will be very happy to hear that because I keep on disturbing them. But cool. All right. Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night's rest, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Bye, everyone.